Hey there, Mercy Legend with you guys. So we're going to be going over modifying your MT4, okay, your tools, how to utilize them, and so on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go straight in, jump into the tools, and show you guys how to do that as well, okay? So first of that off, you got to go to your MT4, okay? You got to go to your MT4. If you already went through the other procedure on the last video, this is how it should look like. This is exactly how it should look like. You have one chart on, you know where to find your pairs, you know where to find your tools, you know the meanings of all these things over here, which is your trade, your account history, and so on, and you know how to actually zoom in, zoom out, go back, and go forward, and so on, okay? So for this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and modify my tools, okay? As in modify my tools is like your trend lines, and your horizontal lines, your Fibonacci's. Every single tool that we utilize on MT4 is going to be modified in this platform. And then on the next platform, what we're going to do, on the next video, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and modify our charts, okay? So charts is very important to modify because it's going to be something that you're comfortable with seeing every single day. For example, I do not like this chart layout. I do not like the background. I do not like the candlestick formation and so on, okay? Now, every single person has a different way of seeing their charts. Some people like the background white, some people like the background gray, black, whatever it is, people like their backgrounds different, okay? And it's perfect because everybody sees the charts and the market differently, okay? So therefore, you have to put it on the same scenario that you want to feel comfortable with, okay? But for now, let's go ahead and jump into the tools, how to modify them, and which ones are the ones that we will mainly be using, okay? So the ones that we're mainly going to be using is 1, your trend line, 2, your horizontal line, and 3, your Fibonacci levels, okay? Now we also will be using the clips. We'll also be using the rectangle, so that way we can actually look for executions, we can look for our reversal zones, our support resistance, and our area of reversals, okay, which is like our key levels of Fibonacci. So for now, let's go ahead and go on our horizontal line. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and click on the horizontal line and place it anywhere I want, okay? So now, you guys can clearly see it came up as red. Now if you have a different background or any scenario you want to change the color of your horizontal line, all you have to do is you got to double click on it, okay? So when you double click, make sure on the right side you have this little ball right here, okay? This little white ball. That means that your tool is already located and ready to edit, okay? Ready to modify. So you got to make sure you have this right here. If you don't have it, you won't be able to right click, okay? So once you have that, now you can go ahead and right click onto the tool and it's going to tell you horizontal line properties, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click horizontal line properties, and it's going to take me to the properties of my horizontal line. Now you can change the size, you can change the type of line, you can change the color, okay? So for now on, if I want to change it to a different color, for example, I want to change it to white, I can go ahead and put white. If I want to change the length or the type of the line, I can go ahead and put any type of line I would like. And then also I can change the length of my line. So I can make it thicker, I can make it wider, skinnier, and so on. So I'm gonna go ahead and just click it right here for an example. And yes, you have to go back over here. If you are changing the thickness, there's gonna be some that you won't be able to modify. Only if you keep it on the very thin one, you will be able to modify the type of line you want, okay? If you go thicker, then that means you will not be able to modify the line you want, okay? So for now, let's just leave it like that so you guys can actually see what it looks like with different type of line. So I'm gonna go ahead and click right here because I want that line so far right now. To give an example, press OK, and it should change my lines, okay? So as you guys can see, it changed my line. It changed the color of my line, and it also changed the form of my line, okay? And you guys can see we still have that little ball right there. So what does that mean? Since we still have that little ball right there, that means we can still edit, and then we can also do what? We can also move our line around, okay? So if we do not have that little ball, we cannot move our line around. So let me give you an example. I'm gonna double click again. It's gonna take that ball off, and I'm just gonna click and try to move it, okay? So I can't move my line. It won't move. Why? Because it's not ready to modify. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on it again, double click, make sure this pops out. Once it pops out, now I can right click on it, modify it, and put it back to the color that I would like. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put the same color that we had. I'm gonna go ahead and go back, put the same color line, and go okay, okay? So now it came back and it put it to the line I had initially. So I can still move it around. Why? Because we still have this right here, okay? So if I'm doing analysis and I have all these with our circles, that means I can move every single line. Now it's very important to make sure to double click it again because sometimes you might want to drag a Fibonacci level and that one's clicked as well. So therefore, you're dragging your horizontal line instead of your Fibonacci level, okay? So make sure you clicked on it again, you put it somewhere where it's stable, so that way it doesn't have to move, all right? Perfect. So that's where your horizontal line, and now if you want to delete it as well, you have to double click on it, and then you can either put delete, or you can, for example, you can put delete and it'll take it off, or you can also just right click on it, okay? But when you do right click on it, make sure we have this little bar right there. You can right click on it and then you can delete, okay? So therefore, that's how you can delete your lines. Now, for a vertical line, okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go ahead and place it. When you first place your first vertical line, you're gonna have this ray, okay? So some people like it, some people don't like it. For example, I don't like having it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and edit it. So to edit this, remember you have to double click and make sure those little circles come up on the line. So on this one, you're gonna see 3 circles, okay? So right here, I see 1, 2, 3, perfect. Now I can modify the line. So to modify, I'm gonna go ahead and right click on it, go where it says trend line properties. And first thing I want to take off, I do want to take off that ray, okay? So for that, you're gonna go on parameters, take off this ray, click on it, perfect. So what that's gonna do, it's gonna take it off. If I go ahead and put okay, it took it off, all right? Perfect. Now, if I want to modify the color, the length, and so on, I'm gonna go ahead and right click, click on trend line properties, go on comment, and I can either change the color I have right now to a different color. I can change the type of line. Now I can also change the width of the line, okay? So I can go ahead and do all this and just change it and it'll be okay and perfect. So you guys can see I made it a lot wider. For example, I don't like having it that length, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put it back to normal length and put okay, and it should modify it the way it was. Now, for me to actually be able to drag this around everywhere I want to, we have to make sure we have these circles. Now, if I double click on it, takes those circles off, what does that mean? That means I can't move it around, all right? Perfect, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete it. To delete it, remember you have to double click on it, you have to have those circles out, and then you can press delete, or you can right click and press delete as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and just press delete, and it'll take it off. Now, our Fibonacci's, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the Fibonacci. Now, I'm gonna grab the Fibonacci and just put it anywhere, okay? This is how it originally looks like. Okay, now some people like having different colors, some people like adding levels onto it, and so on. For that, what I need to do is same thing. I gotta right click on the Fibonacci, but right here, we're gonna have the circles on the red line. Okay, you guys can see a circle right here and a circle right there. I'm gonna right click on it for Fib properties. Now I go off Fib properties. I can change my color, so I can go on Fib levels, okay? And Fib levels are these levels right here, the yellow ones. I can change the color of the Fib levels. If I wanna go ahead and put it a different color, for example, I wanna go ahead and put it white, I can put it white. And then right here on this side, we have all our Fib levels that we currently have on the moment. So we have all these Fib levels, 61.8, 50, 0.0, 38.2, and so on, okay? And if you wanna add a different level, like an extension, you are free to do so. All you have to do is go ahead and put add right here, and then it'll tell you the levels that you actually wanna add, and so on, okay? That is if you are adding extension levels or just adding more levels onto your Fibonacci as well. That's how you add them. Now, for the line that you have right here, you can change that color right here as well, okay? So you can change it to any color you like. Let's say I want to change it to purple. I'll just go ahead and change it to that color and put okay. And both lines should change color. As you guys can see, I changed the level one to white, and I changed this one to purple, and now those have been modified. Now, as you guys can see, I still have my Fibonacci placed as I can move it around. Why? Because I have these circles on there. So that means I can move my Fibonacci around anywhere I would like to, okay? Now, if I want it to be stable, I have to double click on it and make sure those lines take off. That way I can't move it around whenever I'm doing analysis or anything in particular. So if I want to go ahead and delete it, all I have to do is double click on it. I can right click or just press delete. For this example, I'm gonna go right click and press delete, and it should take my Fibonacci off. Okay, so that right there is how you modify your tools on your MT4. And then right here on this side, we have, like we had mentioned, our time frame. So if I want to go to a 1 month time frame, you can go ahead and go on my 1 month time frame. If I want to go to a weekly, I go ahead and go on the weekly. And yes, all these time frames are on the same pair. So what does that mean? That means every single candle, okay, if I'm on the weekly, every single candle was made in 1 week. If I go on the daily, every single candle was made in 1 day. If I go on the H4 time frame, that means every single candle was made in 4 hours, okay, and so on. So that's the way how you modify your trend lines, your horizontal lines, the tools that you're actually going to utilize to the max on your MetaTrader 4. And then also, since we are here, let's go ahead and go on our letters, okay? So if I want to go ahead and put a text, all I have to click on this right there, okay? And I can write a text, okay? So for label, I can go ahead and put a text right here. Let's say I want to label like higher highs and so on. I'll just go ahead and put HH, or I can put higher high and put OK. And as you guys can see, this label has been over here. Now, I want to go ahead and modify it. Remember, you have to double click on it, make sure there's a square over it and a circle. You right click, line properties, and you can change the color, okay? So you guys can see I have it as gray. I can go ahead and put it white. And then I can also change the size of the letter. So I want to go ahead and put a little 20. Well, not so little, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put OK. And it should modify my line, okay? Sorry, it should modify my text. So now I can double click on it, leave it right there, so therefore I'm not moving it around. Okay, so now that's another tool that you'll be using, which is your text. Now, since you don't move this around, okay, whenever you move the chart, your letters stay in the same place, okay? So if you want to modify them, again, all you have to do, you just have to right click and make sure this is on there, and then right click and then label properties. Once you go to label properties, you can modify your text, okay? Now, your text is going to be very useful for you on labeling your structure, which is very, very important, okay? So things that we're going to be using a lot is going to be our horizontal lines, our vertical lines, our Fibonacci's, and our text, so we can actually label every single thing that's happening in the market, okay? So therefore, that is how you actually modify your tools for your advantage. And on the next videos, we'll be seeing on how to modify your charts and how to create a template, okay? So therefore, I'll see you guys in the next video.